And turning now right here in New York City. Chaos erupted at Brooklyn College last night as once again anti-Israel activists clashed with police while trying to set up an encampment. NYPD officers moved in after the group refused to remove their tents. 14 arrests were made as protesters, many in keffiyehs, can be seen shouting and swearing as police tried to restore order.
This comes just one day after the NYPD arrested 80 anti-Israel agitators at Columbia University, of which 61 were women. The Ivy League school has now reportedly handed down at least 65 interim suspensions to those who were involved.
In response, Secretary of State Marco Rubio releasing this statement: "We are reviewing the visa status of the trespassers and vandals who took over Columbia University's library. Pro-Hamas thugs are no longer welcome in our great nation."
Joining us now to discuss, New York City Deputy Mayor for Public Safety Kaz Daughtry. Deputy Mayor, good to see you.
Hey, thank you for having me again.
So I guess the NYPD can certainly do your job and apprehend these individuals and try and keep decorum, but then they have to be prosecuted and taken care of. Talk about that process, how that goes.
Yep, so they received desk appearance tickets. Some of them received summonses from what I was told. From last night's protest, right? Let's talk about last night at Brooklyn College. As you can see from the video you see here, that's not peaceful. That's not a peaceful protest. There's some critics in the city that said what's happening last night was that the NYPD disrupted a peaceful protest. 17 were arrested. Out of the 17, 7 received summonses from what I was told. And one was, out of the 7 arrests, one was arrested for punching a police officer in the face.
Oh, wow.
These groups tried to set up tents. Like tents again. Remember last year we had the tents? Yeah. They was trying to set up tents. This is not Tent City. This is New York City. This is not Tent City. This is our city. And this administration is not going to tolerate that. The educational institution reached out to the NYPD to restore order, and that's what those officers did last night, and they did a great job doing it.
They were doing their jobs.
Yes,
yeah, I also, while we have you here, I want to ask you about an incident that happened last week in Times Square, where some juvenile members of a gang of illegal immigrants tied to Tren de Aragua assaulted a group of police officers. It made national news. What's the latest on that?
Yep, so I believe there is a total of 5 or 6 have been arrested. They're still looking to they're looking for the other ones that were involved. We have them identified already. The police department has them identified. And, you know, we have the greatest detectives in the world. We're going to find them. We're going to bring them to justice. But let's talk about that incident where this crew, the Little Devils of 42nd Street, Los Diablos.
And that's what they're actually called, yes.
Yes, Los Diablos de la 42, which stands for Little Devils of 42. They assaulted those officers, right? They threw scooters, basketballs, bottles at them. Those officers are assigned to, they're assigned in Times Square to keep the people and tourists in Times Square safe. Those are fairly new officers. Could you imagine how those officers feel when they, after that incident, makes national news? The next 2 days they get back there, and the same exact individuals are standing on the same corner again, wow, sitting on the garbage cans, sitting on the plot fixtures over there. How do you think that makes those officers feel? What does that say to the officers that these individuals are back out on the street for what they did? Not only to those officers, but remember last year the same group was involved in 23 roberaries in New York City.
Like some of these characters, they've been arrested dozens of times,
yes,
and they're back on the streets.
No consequences.
0 consequences.
Well, we hope there will be soon, and you're going to have to keep us posted on that.